Welcome to Empyrion Galactic Survival, and this is going to be probably the first part of a mini-series on the Alpha 8 update, which is currently in the experimental branch on Steam. And originally I was going to make this yesterday, and luckily I actually postponed making the video because on the 28th of April 2018, which was effectively a Saturday, which is today, they released part 2 of the update, and looking through the release notes you can see the process of what the devs are actually working on, in the sense that they've looked at the feedback from the community and have made some minor changes. I'm not going to read through every single change, there's quite a long list, but I'm just going to go through a few top level ones, guys. They've done things like they've reduced the overall food consumption rate. They've increased the rock size of the minerals. I must admit I had a few problems finding the small rocks buried in the grass. They've reduced the impact of temperature and radiation, but they still haven't changed the temperature range on the suit, and I still think that needs to have some adjustment. They've also changed some of the food formulas. They've taken out the need for water. They've also added an emergency oxygen generator. So you can see the process of refining the update has already started. And what I'm going to do, guys, is I just want to increase the craft speed. I just don't want it slow, I want it fast. I think we're going to leave the rest. We're going to play on medium. And just to take you through, guys, I've called this game originally Alpha 8 Part 2 because that's effectively what it is. The seed is purely random. I've got no idea what that's going to give us. And we're going to be playing on a starting location of Aranor, which is actually the subject. If you change the seed, you change the name of the plant. And of course we're starting on this randomly generated temperate environment, and we start with iron, copper, silicon and promethium. And I think we're just going to jump straight into it, guys, and get going. And it's quite, I must admit, I'm quite fascinated by this process of what the devs done, and I think it's a very, very smart move, because the changes they've made for the initial survival situation were quite ambitious. And I would like to thank the person who gave me a comment asking to say whether I thought survival should be easy. I don't think survival should be easy. I think it should present a challenge, but I think there's always a danger. And I think we've all played games where you start playing it and you kind of think, what the heck is going on? And eventually you get so frustrated with what they're actually doing that you just give up and stop playing. And I must admit, I'm not going to mention specific games, but I've had that effect, and that's something I would like to see happen with Empyrion. And they got very close in the past when you had the single actual drop pod coming down and crashing, and then you had to spend a lot of time running around trying to work out what the heck was going on. The reason I'm aiming for here, guys, is you can see there's lots and lots of minerals and rocks around here, and I want to gather that. And here we are, guys, we're now down. I'm just going to click on the escape pod. Oh, now I have been told, and I have checked this, that if you ignore the Robinson protocol, you get a drill and a motorbike, I think, and the actual survival constructor given to you for free from the start. But for this purposes of this video, I would still want to play it as like what a new person would do, because a new person seeing this would assume that this is a tutorial. So I'm going to stick with that option. And then maybe if I actually do a proper mini-series on this, depending on how this actual game works out, I will then actually maybe take the opposite route. Now you can see straight away, guys, now we've got here, and you can see immediately the fact that they've doubled the perish time on the energy bars. That makes a big difference. I think what we're going to do is drop the tent down on here. And if you come to the suit constructor now, obviously we need to build our survival tool. You can see here they've taken the water out of all the drinks, so you now need vegetables, buds and natural stimulants to actually get there. Berries for this, and I think they've reduced this. I think originally this was 3, they've now reduced this to 2, and this is the emergency generator, and it says you make small oxygen bottles. And I get the impression from the actual update notes that they actually were suggesting that you actually, let's just get here because we're going to gather some rocks around here first just to get some resources. Yeah, I got the impression that they actually meant that you could make water from it, but But I have tested it, guys, and one thing I do say is don't rush to build it, because until you've got access to Promethium, you can't make the power cells to actually power it. So you're still in a situation until you get to Promethium or find a Promethium deposit of actually having to not actually be able to get any water, which I think is a bit odd, because from a survival situation, most survival kits, and I mean I've done a survival course, tend to have like water purification tablets or something like that in it. Never mind, that's the structure of the game, and that's the game what we're playing with. What I want to do first, I'm not going to follow the protocol that quickly. It's a bit warm out here actually. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. We're a little bit over the top, so maybe we need to, hopefully that will drop a little bit. But what I want to do is gather as many of these rocks and such from this area here, because this is the actual starting biome here. And what you can do is actually stay in this area and gather a lot of resources. In fact, I think what we're going to do, guys, is if we lose altitude, we will lose some of the temperature, because I can always come back out here, because you can sleep in the escape pod at night. And I think maybe we'll make our way over towards this small wreckage and grab the trees. And what we're going to do is just grab, I was about to say corn dogs, they're actually plant protein now. I think it'd be cool if they did leave the actual plant names, but I think we just got to learn to live with that, guys. Actually, we'll come back that way. We're going to head for the wreckage over here. As I say, I'm not going to, I'll just show you the map how big the planets is. Now, I'm not going to rush over here straight away. I'm going to stay in this area to see how many resources I can get. I know in that wreckage there is a survival constructor. I think there's a motorbike, but you don't get any drills or anything like that. You just get the basics. So, and which you can actually build out here if you get plenty of resources. So in a way, I suppose what I'm doing is a bit of a hybrid between doing the Robinson protocol and starting with by ignoring it. So I'm just going to come here, just grab this, and what I will say, guys, is just get here, and because what I would like to get is both iron, silicon and copper, but at the same time I am going to collect crushed stone, because I've actually played this start 6-7 times now, and every time I always seem to end up being short of one resource. I mean, I haven't played on the same map, I just played different ones at random, and for some reason I've only got the one rock there. Okay, never mind. Just going to keep going this way. But what you do want to do, guys, is once you've got that, is start turning these into the energy bars, because if you see the Perishon here is 22, the Perishon here is 116. So you want to get that done, kind of converted as quickly as possible, so you don't actually lose that food. So I'm just going to come here and grab that. See, that time I got 2 rocks. Okay. Yeah, and there's more plant protein here, so oh, and another quick tip, guys, is this, your inventory acts as the source for whatever you produce in here. So don't load this up with 10, because these plant proteins can also be used to make bandages if you've got the plant fibers, and if we actually manage to find any. So don't drop 10, because what will happen is, unless of course you really want to convert everything into energy bars or whatever you're making, so you've got to be a little bit careful from that point of view. Okay, we've got some small wreckage here, so, and there's a box there, so we might be able to get something out of this. And so, right, let's just see what we got here. Wow, we've got a detox kit. That's going to be very good. And we've got there, now see where it says here dermal burn, frostbite and necrosis. This is part of the new, how can you say, disease mechanism. If you don't treat things, they escalate, and then you need more to cure it. So you've got to balance between the need to cure things immediately. I think if we go down into the trees to actually see if we can get that small wreckage over there, we may be able to actually get some of the other plants. I might actually get some fibre as well. I can't actually see any fibre yet, and we're also a bit hot. And if oops, stop talking and concentrate. That's a waste of resources, stamina. They've also they've actually reduced the consumption rate from stamina when you use this survival tool now, so it's a bit more viable. I think there's some fibre over there. That would be cool. I think we certainly need the fibre, so we'll just grab that. And I think we do need to head for the trees now to cool off a little bit. So I think we go, yeah, as you drop in altitude, if you go into trees, it's almost like if the trees cast shade, the temperature drops. So what I'm planning on doing is if I can get into these trees, cool off a bit, and then when the night starts to come, we can then come back onto this plane and do some more collection, because you can deal with temperature by erecting your tent or by sleeping in the drop pod, because the drop pod doesn't disappear immediately anymore. But, and it's a very big but, guys, be aware that if you are actually in this survival mode, time is important. You need to get set up before the local hostiles come out, so you do need to use your time effectively, and sleeping for 8 hours inside of a tent is not particularly that efficient. So we got a bit of iron, a bit of there. So silicon essentially does make how much fibre we got. So we can make a couple of bandages. I think that would be quite useful to make. See, hopefully this could be silicon. It'd be really cool if this is silicon, because we would have cracked it, guys. Silicon, yes. So if you scout out this initial biome round where the drop pod falls, you can often find all the resources to get yourself up and running here. And we're just going to keep collecting the cobra leaves. Now, cobra leaves are quite useful. These are mushrooms. They're not quite so useful except for a specific reason. Now, the advantage of collecting cobra leaves is that if you eat raw food, what will actually happen is this will cure you of indigestion. Now, mushrooms are good against poisonous bites, but at the same time they have a short perish time. But what you can do by collecting them is actually use them to spoil food, which you can then use to make, I think it's biometric food, I think as it's called here, right? Buds is very, very useful now as well, especially since they've produced update 2, because now you don't have the water issue. You can actually make this hot beverage, and I think we're just going to drop the bandages down onto this bar here, and I'm just going to put this up here. We're okay for food at the moment. Yeah, the hot beverage is quite useful because it will increase your body temperature. So if you can get buds and create plenty of hot beverages, it means that when night comes in, it can let you operate in some of the more chillier areas when it comes down to become necessary to survive. So now here are eggs. Now again, eggs, just to show you guys, eggs give you a very small amount of food, but well, I'm going to eat them. I've got spices anyway. So now if you eat the food, invariably you get indigestion. Here, just to show you, it shows up here. So it says I've got indigestion, but you can cure it with eating the spice, and of course that actually gives you a bit more stamina and all that. The one thing about spices is it does reduce your health by 1, but it does also increase your body temperature by 1. So again, it's a good way of actually when you're starting to get cold. But of course the consequence of that is small wreckage. Okay. The consequence is the fact that if you do it when you're out on the plane, I think there's definitely a container in here. Yeah, if you start eating spices when you're actually, oh come on, I should be able to jump up that. All right, there's something in, that's it in there. Okay, we've got a few more antibiotic. I mean, we're not going to use that unless we have to. Okay, let's just deconstruct a couple of these just for the sheer heck of it. Using up quite a lot of stamina. I think we'll take the cargo box because that should give me 4 steel plates. Yeah, see it says 4 steel plates. Right, what we're going to do now is just scout around this area, guys, see what we can get. And then we're going to go back up onto the plane. I'm just going to grab some more buds. I say the buds and the cobra leaves tend to be within trees. So what you want to do is when the temperature's hot, this is where you need to get into this area here to actually do the exploration and grab the necessary kit. Okay, I'm just gonna make another cup of coffee. Well, call it coffee. Well, I suppose what you'd actually call it is hot chocolate because it warms you up, doesn't it? Right, over here there's some akua berries, or berries as they're now called. We're going to go and collect those. So like I said, it is what you need to do is just use this time, get in amongst this lot and collect this area here. We probably won't get to that wreckage in this part. I want to say I do want to stay in this area. Right, we've now reached level 3, and what I want to do is just oops, no, it's in miscellaneous, and we can unlock the survival constructor and just a quick check, and we can actually make one. And I actually am going to make one, guys. I know some of you are saying, oh, you shouldn't be making them. Oh, we've got some berry juice here as well. Okay, see the berry here now gives it perish time and 50, gives you health and stamina. So, and that's a lot better than eating the raw berries. So I'm just gonna. So I think we're just gonna scout around this area. Is there any more berries here? How we doing? We've got 3 minutes before it starts to get dark, or 3 clicks. That's probably the best way. I don't know if it's minutes or hours. Meteorite coming in. Now I've seen that message many times, but I've yet to see the meteorite because I think the planet is now so big that you can actually, suffer from. Well, the meteorite could land anywhere on the planet. I mean, that's probably the way to say it. What we're going to do, guys, is we're just going to keep grabbing these resources out through here. There's some more cobra leaves that way. We're just going to work back towards that wreckage up there so we can actually. Okay, just grab that. I mean, if the food spoils, the food spoils. That's all there is to it. I mean, there's no point worrying too much about it. So we're just going to work our way up here. Okay. And we do need to start thinking about getting out of the trees, because eventually it's going to get a bit cold out here down this way. And if we get up onto the plane again, the temperature's going to be a little bit higher. Right, I'm just going to grab that. Looks like we've got some more resource here. Okay, I'm just going to grab that. Okay. Right, so this is work through the trees. Some more spices over there. Some more mushrooms that we can let spoil. Okay. Still actually quite warm, actually. Right. We go out through here. You can see the god rays coming through the sun. I think that's really spectacular. I really like that. It's fantastic. Okay. Yeah, we've got a nice little crop here. Okay, just going to grab that. This is more copper. Yep. Certainly a lot of copper in this area. Right. I hope what I would like is to get back up towards where the actual capsule is, or something out onto the plane. So it's still quite warm out here. Okay. What we're going to do is I think we're going to work a way along the tree line. Actually, what we could do is just drop that here. Get some of that. Ah, that's interesting. If you fill the output up, it doesn't actually do anything. Okay. Aha. Bit of a fail on my part there, guys. Let's see if we can build here. Okay. Let's see if we got that in there. We're not going to get that, are we? Okay, let's put some plates in. No, we're not going to really build anything, are we? We could get a pistol, but we won't be able to make it any there because we don't have the capability. So we're still a bit thin on the ground on the perspective of there. Okay, I mean, see here, we need the stone to make the extra stuff. Optical fiber, so we need more silicon. Okay, just put that back, and I'm just gonna put that back and go back to there. So we've got a lot more resources that we need to collect. I think, as I say, I think what we're going to do, guys, is make our way just along the edge of the trees here, in the general direction of that wreckage, gathering resources. There's some, and I think what we'll do is we'll look for some stone, just ordinary stone, so that we can, yeah, real rock here. That's only 150, so we're just going to gather this so we can make the resources necessary to actually start to produce the... There's only one again. It's a bit of a fiddle. Right, there's some more spices out there, so I'm just going to grab those. Right, the temperature's now starting to drop a little bit, so we can now venture out more onto the plain. Yes, oops, back to 33.28. Okay, guys, 26. Right, let's get back out onto the yeah. So yeah, the temperature's now falling, so we can. There's plenty of material and rocks out here. We can get some more. How are we doing for food? We're doing okay for food. Just pick up some more of this. I'm assuming that if you hang around long enough, it will start to rock drill. Okay, just make sure. So I'm assuming that if we hang around long enough, we'll be able to actually. See, it's still loads and loads of copper. Right, there's some rocks over that way. What have you been doing? I've been looking for rocks. So, alright, we're on a rock hunt. I mean, let's pick these rocks up. So we may go slightly more. Right, that's just a ordinary rock, but we'll be okay, guys. I think if we pick, that's actually iron. Okay, just keep picking. That's iron. Okay, we're just going to keep picking the iron. I think what we probably need is silicon more than anything else. Right, I think we're going to scout out round this way. Kind of keep the actual drop pod just to the right, because I know everything to the right of that will actually be, how can you say, collected. So we're just going to get back up on this field, and of course the one thing you can do is actually do this, is actually have a look round, get back to first person. Yeah, I would like to spend the night up here, because this is going to be a lot warmer than if I go down that way. Because once we get in the trees, you get cold quite well. It's not to say that we may not get cold here. Okay, let's see what we got. You've got there. This is 52 natural sweetener. I think we can. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have the plant fibre, so we might as well keep pushing this out. Okay, that's 110. I think we can eat one of those just to keep the food level up. Okay. There's a bird taking off. Right. There's some rocks over there. I think we're going to go this way. Kind of some ways we're half walking towards the sunrise anyway. Small wreckage. So we discovered another small wreckage over there. Okay, we're certainly going to go and check that out. Maybe that will be the objective where I will end this video. Okay, I actually must admit, I'm starting to like this survival tool. I think it's quite nifty actually. So I think maybe we'll just keep going this way, because we're kind of postponing the inevitable at the moment of the sun going down. More copper. Wow. And we've got some plant protein. I think that's plant protein. Right, so I think what we're going to do, guys, is I'm going to work. We've got some rocks there, but we've got rocks over there. Kind of that's in that direction. So if we go this direction and get those rocks. Wow, it's quite a long way though. This is one thing you do need to bear in mind, guys, that the scale of these planets now are a real challenge for when you're on foot. So you do really need to think about that when you're moving around. More iron. Okay. It's silicon. We're definitely going to have to work on the silicon, I think. We must have more than enough copper. And the sun is now going down, so we're just going to keep moving in this direction. Okay, that's iron. So just keep going this way. Of course, there's not so much food out here, but we're okay, guys. We're okay. Because once it gets dark, it gets very, very difficult to find anything. Now, generally, creatures here are not hostile at the moment. Most of the hostile stuff tends to congregate in here. In fact, creatures will run away from you. Wow, yep, there's some fibre there hidden in the grass. We're certainly going to grab that. And I think maybe we're curve around this way. There's something over there just silhouetted against the sun. It's a rock there, so I'm going to grab that. Okay. It was up here. I can't see it now. Okay. Let's just... So say we'll get to the small wreckage, and that's where I'm going to end the video, guys. Okay. Here's something creeping around. Oh, that's these guys here. Hello. Now you can actually kill these, but I wouldn't recommend it. They're just going to leave you alone. So you can see we've actually moved a little bit closer to the... Oh, so I'm going to pick that up. That's alien thorn. That could be useful. I think there's a rock here. I actually need crushed rock, actually. Okay, let's just grab that. Let's just go and get that one there. That looks like ordinary rock. Okay. Yeah, some crushed stone. We might be able to put that to good use. Right, we've got the sun in our eyes, which isn't particularly that good. So what you need to do is look across the sun to see things. There's some rocks on the horizon up there. So we're certainly going to get... There's 3 rocks on the horizon here. Okay, we're just going to grab these. There's another one just behind it. Okay. Some more iron. Quite useful. Okay. Got here. Crushed stone, thank you. That would be useful, because I certainly want a motorbike. stone. I mean, that has to be the priority next, is to get a motorbike. What's this? This is vegetables. We've actually found some vegetables at last. So there's vegetables out here. So let's just get to this wreckage here, guys. There's a rock there as well. Okay, we're just... Sorry for the digression. As they say, we'll see, we'll grab. So just gonna... I think we've got a reasonable amount of crushed stone now. And I mean, these actual things, that yes, they're wreckage, but you could actually... These could actually be a useful source of items. And in fact, you could use these as a storage base, actually, if you wanted to. I think that's probably all there is there. So you don't have to destroy every single one of them, because obviously when the local nasties come out, you can actually do it. So what I'm going to do, just to wind this part off, guys, we're just going to drop a constructor in. It's going to drop our... Right, we want electronics. Okay. Electronics, silicon ingots. That's going to be the problem. Right. So what we need to do is, how much crushed stone have we got? So we can make a couple of bits of this. That might give us enough to make some silicon ingots. Okay. Right. We'll be able to make a motorbike construction kit. We've already got some spoiled food. I think I've got that. That can spoil. That's only got 5 left. This has got... So that doesn't actually perish. That's good. That's got 107 on it. Okay. Because we can... If I put that in, we could actually make another energy bar. What I'm doing is effectively at the moment, guys, is actually thermal burn. Okay, that's interesting. Is like preparing for the night. So I'm actually I could go in there, because some of this stuff is going to spoil. So what I could do is actually eat some of this stuff. Actually, we could health 90 natural sweetener. So if I eat the stuff that I know is going to perish, that's going to perish. So put that in there. We can actually make some plant protein from that. Okay. I mean, it's not... The current perish is 34. That's 25. Okay. Maybe that was a bit of a mistake. I mean, I could cancel it. We could just let that spoil, actually. Naturally. Okay. And what I want to do, that's a stupid thing to do. We're going to make a motorbike. And this is where I'm going to finish the video, guys. And we have a motorbike. That's going to make getting to that other base very, very easy. Anything else we can make here? Any work we do weapons wise? And certainly I think I want to drill. And we can't make nitrocellulose. We don't have the... we can make some ammunition. So let's just get back into business, guys. And we should be able to make this. And we'll make a few rounds of ammunition. It's really comforting. I don't think I really need the tent on my hotbar. I think maybe we'll keep the torch for the moment. I want to keep this because this is going to be effectively my multi-tool. We're going to make a pistol so we can actually defend ourselves. Although, to be honest, the old survival tool isn't too bad. I mean, it's not going to put down a drone, but if you can get into a safe position, say in a piece of wreckage, you can actually shoot down spiders, kill spiders with it. And in some ways, you want to keep the survival tool even when you've got a pistol until you've got a good supply of ammunition. because obviously the problem we're going to have here is, well, we could probably how much nitrocellulose we got? We could probably make another 3 of those. Yeah, so the old survival tool, as long as you're in a good firing position, you're not actually out in the open. The old survival tool can be quite useful for keeping yourself alive, actually, guys. Right, so we've got the resources. I mean, I should really sort this mess out a little bit. We've got, okay, and we're just gonna shift and pick that up. Oops. Okay. Ha, bit of a fail there, guys. Sorry about that. Right, so because obviously I'm not going to be camping at the moment because the temperature is 22 degrees centigrade, so we do need to take advantage of that. But of course we can use the bike to now move in the direction of the wreckage and get whatever's there. So we've now got, I don't know if we can, got no app, nothing for that. Okay, so there's a bit of a fail there, guys. We don't actually have any biofuel, so let's just put this out, see what we actually need for the biofuel. Okay, plant fibers. Okay, if I put that in there, now we need 10. Okay, so we need to go looking for some plant fibers. Right, guys, I think this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. In the next part, I'm going to pick up in this position. We're going to have to use the night to try and find some plant fibers. We're going to use it to kind of explore this area. But that's all going to be for the next part, guys. So until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.